Shirok. This is just going to be a quick breakdown of how to do your order of operations, including parentheses. And I made this problem kind of hard because we have fractions, and fractions are always kind of difficult. So what I'm going to do first is we have no constants in this problem. All we have is variables and coefficients. Our 2/3 is a coefficient because we will be distributing it to our x, which is a variable. A variable is any letter that is used in any algebraic equation that can be substituted in for a different number. So this is a variable, this is a coefficient because we are also multiplying this by this, or 2/3 by our 2. Looking at our other side of the equation, we know that we have to distribute our 1/2 to our x and also our 1/2 to our 6. So that's how we're going to set up our equation. So basically what we need to do is we need to go through this and we are solving for x. And to do that, we first must combine all of our like terms. So all of our numbers that are not connected to our x must be combined together, and all of our x's must be combined together on opposite sides of the equation. So then we can set it equal to each other, so then we are able to solve for a variable. I lost my tab. So our first step technically would be to distribute everything out. And so I'm going to do this the long way just so it shows all the math. So this would look like 2/3 multiplied by x plus 2/3 multiplied by 2. For sake of keeping everything even with fractions, I'm going to write 2/1. This is the fraction equivalent to equaling 2, because when 2, let me do some fraction stuff. So you have your numerator and your denominator, right? Your denominator tells you the size of your parts. Ugh, I spelled that wrong. And your numerator tells you how many pieces, how many you have. So therefore we can write this 2/1 as 2/1, and it will equal 2 because we know that the size of our parts is 1 whole, and we have 2 pieces that equal 1 whole. So therefore 2/1 equals 2. So then we can set this other side equal to it because we have to distribute our 1/2 to the x and also to the 6. So I will take 1/2 multiplied by x plus 1/2 multiplied by 6. Again, I'm going to write that as 6/1. So some quick math. I'm just going to pull this down so then we can see it. To multiply this out, we're going to go 2 times 2 equals 4. 3 times 1 equals 3. So we have 4/3. And over here we have 1 times 6 equals 6, and 2 times 1 equals 2. Now 6/2 can obviously be reduced because once again we have the size of parts, which is 2. We have the pieces, how many parts that we have, which is 6. And if everything is a size of 2 parts and we have 6 total pieces, then that means we have a total of 3 whole parts. So that can be reduced down to 3. So now we can multiply this out. Our x is going to sit up with the 2. So we have 2/3 x plus 4/3. I'm going to kind of erase things and move things around. So we know that this is, what did we say, 4/3? We said this equals 3. So we have 2x/3 plus 4/3 equals 1/2 plus 3. So now we have constants in our equation. These would be considered our constants because they're not being multiplied by anything. They don't have any coefficients next to them. While their x, our 2/3 would be considered the coefficients to the variable of x. And we are still trying to solve for x. So our next step would be to combine our like terms. So we need to get our x's on the same side of the equation and our 4/3 on the same side of the equation as 3. So the best way that I like to do this is that I know that this x is higher numerical value than this x would be. So I'm going to subtract 1x, 1/2 x from this side of the equation. So this will zero out. And if I subtract it from this side of the equation, I must subtract it from this side of the equation. And I'm also going to subtract this 4/3 from this side of the equation, so then it zeroes out. And now I have to subtract 4/3 from this side. So let's rewrite this because it's kind of messy. Minus 1x/2 equals 3 minus 4/3. Now, again with that trick with the fractions, if you know how many holes are in and how many pieces that you have, I could rewrite my 3 as 2 and 3/3, because this is telling me that I have 2 holes and I have 3 parts that are each size 1/3 of a hole that will also create another hole. So technically altogether this equals 3, and I can subtract that from 4/3 to get, technically I could rewrite 4/3, and I'm going to do that because it's confusing me, as 1 1/3. So then I'll get 1 2/3. Yes, I'll get 1 2/3 over here, and when I subtract, oh no, we have a problem because our denominators do not match up. So now we have to find a common denominator for both. To do that, I must find what I can multiply by 3, and what also I can multiply by 2 that will get me the same number down here in my denominator. So I know that I know that these both can go into 6, so I'm going to multiply my 3 by a 2, and if I multiply my denominator by a 2, I have to now multiply my numerator by a 2. So this becomes 4x over 6. So then I have to find what I can multiply by 2 to get to 6. So I'm going to multiply this by 3. So if I multiply my denominator by 3, I must multiply my numerator by 3. So then I'm going to get 3x over 6, and we are subtracting. So when I subtract 3x from 4x, I get 1x over 6. So I have x over 6 equals 1 2/3. But we're not done. So now we have to multiply the 6 out. So once I multiply that 6 out, this just becomes x because this canceled out. This becomes 0. So I have x equals, we're going to come up here. I have x equals 1 2/3 times 6. So now I have to distribute my 6 to both the 1 and the 2/3. So when I get 1 times 6, I get 6 plus, now we have to do that. So I can write my 2/3 times 6 over 1 to find that I get 3 over 12. That's another fraction that I can reduce. I could even divide a 3 to get 1 over 4. So I know that that equals 4. And all together, I get 6 plus 4, x equals 10. Now, if I were to go back and plug this 10 into my original equation, I would get, this would equal 8, this would also equal 8, and therefore my equations are equal to each other. So that is just a quick walkthrough of how to solve when you have fractions and when you need to combine like terms and you need to solve for x. I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I will try to make videos and send them. And if this was annoying, also let me know, and I will not send another one. Bye.